As a valued employee, your safety and that of our patients, visitors, and your coworkers is of the utmost importance to us. The goal of this video is to introduce you to some common safety hazards, enlist your efforts to prevent accidents, and to further our culture of promoting a healthy, safe, and secure work environment. This video is designed to complement the Employee Guide to Health and Safety, which covers a wide range of subjects including management of hazardous waste, chemical spills, and exposure to bloodborne pathogens, safe patient lifting and repositioning, correct handling of heavy objects, prevention of slips, trips, and falls, and the proper use of equipment including kitchen appliances, personal protective equipment, and lifting devices. This video and the Employee Guide to Health and Safety cannot cover every potential hazard in the workplace, but it can reinforce that safety and the prevention of injuries is everyone's responsibility. Each of us has a role, and the cumulative effect of everyone's focus on safety can be profound. After viewing the video, you will be required to acknowledge that you have viewed and understand its content. Please take the time necessary to review the Employee Guide to Health and Safety to fully understand our expectations and your role in promoting safety and preventing accidents. If you have questions about the video, guide, or any training you receive, please reach out to your supervisor, director, or human resources representative for assistance. It is our goal to work together with you to make your work environment safe. Every employee is responsible for following all safety guidelines and policies and for ensuring that his or her work area is maintained in a safe condition. It's not possible for an employer to be aware of every potential hazard at all times. That's why it's so important for you to recognize your role in maintaining a safe work environment. Be alert and aware of potential safety hazards as you work through your day. If you see an unsafe situation and you have the training or knowledge to correct the problem, then by all means do so. Some simple and recognizable examples include straightening a doormat, securing computer wires and cords, and cleaning up a spill rather than walking around it. Another example of personal responsibility is good hand hygiene, which is the single most important tool we have for preventing the spread of infection. Good body mechanics are essential to the prevention of injuries when lifting. It's critical to remember that your overall physical condition contributes to a successful lift. Maintaining your physical ability to perform your job is just as important as maintaining your training, certifications, license, and education. If you feel you're physically unable to safely complete a task, don't do it. Talk to your supervisor or get help. The Employee Guide to Health and Safety illustrates proper lifting technique. Let's review the basics of a good lift. First, inspect the area where you'll be lifting and ensure it's safe and clear. Set your feet solidly on the ground and slightly apart for a good base of support. Bend at your knees and hips to get close to the load, keeping your chest up and back straight. When you perform the lift, keep the load close to your body and use your leg and arm muscles, not your back. Keep your chest up and spine straight throughout the lift. Twisting or rotating places you at a greater risk for strains and injury. The heavier the object, the greater your risk of injury. Whenever possible, it's a good idea to use a mechanical lifting device. Again, if you have any doubts as to your ability to perform a lift, don't do it. It is your responsibility to know your own limits and seek assistance when necessary. Overhead lifting presents a different type of risk. Ensure the object to be moved isn't too heavy. If it is, take it down one piece at a time. If needed, use a step ladder rather than a rolling stool or chair. Correctly stocking shelves also helps prevent injury. Heavier loads should be at waist height, while lighter objects should be stocked higher up. The same applies when stacking boxes. To ensure stability, place heavier loads on the bottom and don't stack too high. Remember to never block access to power panels, alarm pools, or fire extinguishers. Now on to some of the most important tasks we perform: patient lifts and transfers. You should only perform these tasks if you've been specifically trained to do them as part of your job description. This includes repositioning a patient in bed and moving a patient from one location to another. First, it's important to know the patient's abilities. Thoroughly assess the patient and ask yourself these questions. What level of assistance does the patient require? Do they have any limitations in weight bearing or movement? How is the patient's sense of balance? Do they tend to fall or lean to one side? Are they cognitively aware, and can they follow simple commands? There are times when a patient may not understand what you're trying to do or be fully aware of what's taking place. Assess your patient, talk with them, and confirm they can see and hear you. If the patient is able to assist, encourage them to do so. Patients can be fragile and may be easily injured. Give only the assistance needed to successfully complete the movement or transfer, and do not overexert yourself. If a situation arises when a patient needs to be lowered to the floor, remember it's okay to make the patient comfortable on the floor until you're able to get help. There are a number of patient lifting, transfer devices, and techniques available. If you perform patient transfers, you need to know what is available at your facility. Proper training and matching the transfer to the patient's ability is critical to the safety of you and your patient. And remember, if you aren't physically capable of performing the task, or if you feel it poses a risk of injury, don't do it. If you need help, equipment, or additional training, ask for it. Be sure to review the Employee Guide to Health and Safety. There are two important sections: preventing back injuries and lifting or transferring patients. Whenever you work with patients, you need to be aware of their mental status. Review the patient's history and make note of any aggressive tendencies. A patient's degree of pain and their medication can affect their mental status. Before touching a patient, tell them who you are and what you'll be doing, and ensure they understand.
Okay, I'm going to push this down. There you go.
Much better.
A gentle touch, reassuring smile, and open line of communication can help calm a patient. If a patient does become aggressive or combative, don't handle it alone. Seek assistance in calming the patient down. We can't emphasize this enough. Ask for help whenever it is necessary. Refer to the Employee Guide to Health and Safety for additional information regarding the management of aggressive patients. Slips, trips, and falls are a leading cause of injuries. Always watch where you're going, and when a surface is wet, slow down and take shorter strides. Anticipate problem areas. Typically, certain areas may be wet, such as around sinks, dishwashers, ice machines, and floors that are being mopped. Use wet floor signs whenever possible. When mopping, mop one side of the walkway at a time so others can safely use the other side. In a hospital, floors must be cleaned frequently. It is difficult to keep those areas dry at all times, so be aware and use caution. If you work in areas that require shoe covers, please use them, as they help protect you from slipping, as well as helping prevent the spread of germs. Watch for other trip hazards, including changes in flooring surfaces, exposed computer and electric cords, or items stored on the floor. When you see a trip hazard, prevent a future injury by eliminating it when possible. Stairs are also a common location for slips and falls. When using the stairs, take one step at a time and use the handrails. Don't carry items which may obstruct your view. Get a cart and use an elevator when available. The key to preventing slips, trips, and falls is paying close attention to what you're doing and where you're going. Tailor your clothing to best suit your responsibilities, environment, and clothing policy. Wear closed-toe shoes appropriate to the flooring where you work. Slip-resistant shoes should be worn in all patient care, environmental service, engineering, maintenance, or food service areas. Your supervisor will be glad to help if you have questions about proper footwear. Also, remember that our patients may have sensitivities to perfumes. Strong fragrances are not appropriate in healthcare settings. Handling laundry in a healthcare setting requires special precautions. Too much agitation of soiled linens can contaminate the air or other surfaces. Always handle laundry as if hazards are present. While never acceptable, be aware that a needle or some other sharp could be hidden within. Remember to wear the required gloves and be gentle. There is a wide variety of electrical equipment and appliances used in the workplace. Always inspect electrical devices to make sure they're safe to operate. Is the cord intact, including each of the prongs on the plug? Tell your supervisor and your biomedical resource about any unsafe equipment. Tag this equipment to alert others that it's out of service. Employee errors are the primary cause for most electrical accidents. Water and electricity do not mix. Do not place drinking cups or liquid containers on top of any electrical equipment. Remember that electricity travels through conductors, including water, metal, and people. Please read the electrical hazard sections in the Employee Guide to Health and Safety. Ovens and range tops, boiling pots of liquid, and even electric coffee makers are potential hazards for burns. To avoid burning yourself, you should always treat an appliance as if it were hot. Don't overfill pots when heating so they will not boil over, causing a burn or a slip hazard. For appliances like grinders and food slicers, it's not enough just to keep these areas clean. This is moving machinery, so don't wear any loose clothing or jewelry. Never use this equipment without the safety guards in place. Be certain to insert food into this type of equipment with a wooden plunger or designated tool, not your hand. Keep your hands and fingers well away from the sharp edges of slicers and knives, and always cut away from your body. Kitchens and cafeterias can be quite busy. That's why it's important to keep these areas well lit, clean, dry, and free of obstructions. Actually, this applies throughout your facility. Let people know when you're coming and open doors slowly to avoid collisions. Again, if you make a mess or see a mess, clean it up. If you ever come across an unsafe situation, you need to report it to your supervisor. Equally important, if you ever sustain any type of injury, no matter how minor, it's important that you report it immediately to your supervisor or director. A report of any accident, occurrence, or unsafe situation must be made before the end of the shift during which it took place. Same day, same shift. If you are ever unsure of what action to take, reporting it to your supervisor or director is always the best course. If your supervisor or manager is not available, you should report it to the department director, house supervisor, employee health nurse, injury coordinator, or human resources. Please note, the reporting requirements at your facility may include a written and signed occurrence report, the completion of an electronic notification, or computer-based reporting process. Understanding the required reporting process and diligence in reporting is necessary to evaluate the hazard or injury and to ensure you receive prompt medical care if necessary. Remember, reporting of occurrences and injuries is your responsibility, not your supervisor, coworker, or anyone else. In the event you are injured on the job and require medical assistance, do not seek it on your own. Contact your facility employee health nurse, designated employee injury coordinator, house supervisor, or human resources representative, and they will make arrangements for you to receive appropriate medical care. Your employee health nurse or designee will complete a one-time authorization for medical treatment, which you will need before you receive care. Please remember, if there is any type of occurrence, it must be reported immediately and before the end of the shift on which it occurred, even if you are not injured. Following this safety video presentation, we will review the process for reporting an on-the-job injury and the required documents associated with the Employee Health and Safety Program Benefit Plan. The Employee Guide to Health and Safety is yours to keep and is available online. If you ever have a question about a technique or policy, this guide is your resource. In the end, we're all part of a team, and safety is everyone's responsibility. Thank you for your time today, and remember to always think safety and work safely. Employee injuries that occur on the job are handled through our Employee Health and Safety Program benefit plan. All employees, regardless of length of employment or classification, are eligible to elect to participate in the Employee Health and Safety Program benefit plan. Participation in the plan is free. There are no monthly deductions or out-of-pocket expenses for the employee to pay. Benefits under the plan include authorized medical care and wage replacement. There are certain requirements you must meet to receive benefits. For example, every occurrence on the job must be verbally reported to your supervisor, the department manager, injury coordinator, house supervisor, or person in charge of the plan immediately, or no later than the end of the shift on which the occurrence happened. In addition to the verbal report, you must also complete a written report on the same date as the occurrence before leaving the premises. It's important to note that an occurrence and an injury are not the same thing. An occurrence is the event that may or may not cause an injury. For example, a fall is an occurrence, but there may be no injury present at the time. Nonetheless, the requirement is to report the occurrence at the time it occurs rather than to wait and see if pain develops over the next day or so. If medical attention is necessary, you must obtain authorization and be seen by a designated provider in order for the facility to provide medical and/or wage replacement benefits. After being seen by a provider, you must report to the employee health nurse, injury coordinator, or designated person in charge of the plan to discuss the employee's status. If you are released to transitional duty, the employee health nurse, injury coordinator, or designated person in charge of the plan will determine what work is available and advise you. If you need continued medical treatment, you must get authorization for all appointments. There are also some exclusions or reasons why benefits under the plan will be ceased or denied. Please refer to the summary plan description to familiarize yourself with the exclusions. If your benefits are ceased or denied for any one or more of the exclusions listed in the summary plan description, the facility will provide written notification to you of the denial or termination of the benefits and the rationale. In addition, the facility will outline the steps and timeline if you choose to appeal the facility's decision. Now that you've seen the plan's benefits and requirements, let's discuss enrollment. Turn to Exhibit 1. This is the form that will enroll you in the Employee Health and Safety Program benefit plan. If you want to participate in the plan, you must sign the selection form. You may take up to 10 days to make your decision on whether or not to enroll in the plan, but if you are ready to do so today, go ahead and sign and date the Exhibit 1. Your option to elect benefits under this plan and waive your right to sue in civil court for common law remedies, including negligence, is similar to the option under the Workers' Compensation Program. However, under our program, unlike workers' compensation, you will have the right to resolve such claims through arbitration. Likewise, as under workers' compensation, if you retain your right to sue in civil court for common law remedies, including negligence, you will not receive any benefits under this plan. If you don't want to participate in the plan, please request the rejection form to sign. The last document is the Employee Acknowledgement Form and Notification of Rules, Regulations, and Procedures. This form states that you have read the Employee Guide to Health and Safety, the summary plan description, and the Notice of No Workers' Compensation. It also states that you have watched this video, understand the incident reporting process, and have been trained on how to lift and work safely in our facility. Please take the time to read this form and the corresponding documents and get any questions answered before signing. Welcome and thanks for watching.